Okay, so let's just dive right in. For the last couple of years, all the talk has been about AI that can chat, write poetry, and make cool pictures. But you know what? That was just the warm-up act. The AI you've gotten used to is about to be completely overshadowed by something way more powerful. A paradigm that doesn't just talk about doing things, it actually does them. So, welcome to the era of AI agent team.
This quote right here, from a report by a company called Invisible, just nails it. It perfectly captures the huge shift that's happening. Pretty soon, the idea of having a single AI agent is going to sound as basic as having a single app on your phone. See, the future isn't about one agent. It's about whole teams of them, all working together. The chat era is ending, and the agent era is officially beginning.
So, what is this shift really all about? Well, at its core, it's the difference between an AI that just responds to you and an AI that actually acts on its own. We're making a massive leap from brilliant thinkers to, well, autonomous doers.
Here's a really great way to think about it. Generative AI, like ChatGPT, is like a brilliant consultant. You go to it with a question and it gives you a fantastic, well-thought-out answer. But agentic AI? That's like hiring an entire high-performing project team. You don't give it a question, you give it a goal. And then they figure out the strategy, divide up the work, use the tools they need, and get the project done from start to finish.
Let's break that down just a little bit more. Generative AI is, at its heart, reactive. It just sits there and waits for you to give it a prompt. Agentic AI, on the other hand, is autonomous. It doesn't just spit out content, it executes really complex, multi-step tasks. It does this by connecting to other software and services to reach a goal, and a lot of the time it does it without any human needing to hold its hand along the way.
So how does this all work? Well, this ability to act on its own is built on what's called an agentic workflow. AI pioneer Andrew Ng points to 4 key things that make these systems so powerful. First, reflection. That's the ability to look at its own work and fix mistakes. Then there's tool use, the power to actually use other software. Third is planning, which is breaking down big goals into small, manageable steps. And finally, the secret sauce, collaboration, where all these specialized agents work together like a real team.
Okay, here's the really crucial part. This isn't some far-off sci-fi future. Report after report from industry experts are all pointing to one year in particular, 2026. They're saying that's going to be the breakout year for agentic AI. So why then? Let's take a look at the evidence.
And honestly, we're already well on our way. According to research from the Futurum Group, a pretty staggering 64% of organizations are already past the let's think about it phase. They are actively piloting or deploying these solutions as we speak, mostly in places like customer service and IT.
And this stuff is getting integrated fast. The tech analysts at IDC are predicting that by 2026, these AI copilots, which are really a form of agentic AI, are going to be embedded in 80% of all the applications we use at work. Think about that. This is quickly just becoming a standard feature in the software we use every single day. And just to round out the picture, Gartner, another huge name in tech research, agrees. They're projecting that over 60% of enterprise AI apps will have these agentic components by 2026. The consensus here is crystal clear. The shift from an AI that just chats to an AI that does is happening, and 2026 is the year it really hits the mainstream. All right, enough with the abstract data and predictions. Let's move this into the real world. How are these agent teams actually being used to transform businesses right now, today?
The really big idea here is the creation of a whole new kind of workforce, an agentic task force. And this isn't about replacing people. It's about creating a hybrid team where these digital agents work side by side with human employees, taking on the really complex, data-heavy lifting.
Okay, let's look at a case study from Boston Consulting Group. So there was this financial firm, and they were just drowning in paperwork trying to process loans. It was slow, full of manual errors, a real headache. Their goal was to use an agent team to speed the whole thing up by at least 30%. So they built a specialized little team. First up, a document parser agent. Its only job is to read the application and make sure it's filled out correctly. Then, a data reconciler agent jumps in. It cross-checks all the info with the company's CRM and outside credit bureaus. And finally, a policy reasoner agent looks at any problems and figures out what to do based on company rules. Each one has a very specific job, and they work together perfectly.
And this part is absolutely key. These agents aren't just messing around in some isolated test environment. No, they plug directly into the core systems of the business, the CRM, the databases, to pull real data and execute tasks in the real world.
And the result? Well, the agent team didn't just meet the goal, they absolutely crushed it. The firm saw a 30 to 50% faster time to decision on their loans. I mean, that is a massive game-changing improvement in efficiency, all thanks to this little AI team.
Now, if you take this idea a step further, you can start to imagine an entire business management structure made up of AI agents. We're not just talking about fixing one workflow anymore. We're talking about automating core business functions from the very top all the way down.
In one wild example from a company called Codex Arrow, they map out a whole hypothetical team. You've got a CEO agent making strategic decisions based on market data, you've got a personal assistant agent managing schedules, a programmer agent writing code, and an accountant agent tracking the money. It's a pretty mind-blowing glimpse into what end-to-end business automation could look like.
And beyond running a business, the applications are just popping up everywhere. BCG also reports that other agent teams are already cutting software coding cycles by over 30%. And in the legal world, get this, they're taking 10,000 pages of dense legal documents and turning them into simple, easy-to-read summaries. Incredible!
The rise of this powerful new workforce obviously brings up the biggest question of all. What on earth does this mean for our jobs, and what skills are we going to need to stay relevant?
Well, according to futurist Bernard Marr and a lot of other experts, the goal here really isn't replacement, it's augmentation. The whole idea is to use these agent teams to free us up from the repetitive, tedious work so that we can focus on the higher-level strategic thinking that humans are so good at.
So, our role is evolving. We're shifting from being a task doer to being an AI orchestrator. Instead of doing the process ourselves, our job becomes setting the goals for the AI team, handling any weird exceptions they can't figure out, and ultimately owning the responsibility for the final outcome. We basically become managers of a digital workforce. And this is so important. The most valuable skills in this new world won't necessarily be about coding the agents yourself. It's going to be about designing the systems they work in, governing their actions to make sure they're doing the right thing, and creating the safeguards to ensure they operate safely and reliably. Okay, let's bring this all home. Quick summary. First, the big shift. AI is growing up from being conversational chatters to becoming autonomous doers. Second, the timeline. All the evidence points to 2026 as the year this really takes off in a big way. Third, the reality. This is not a theory. It's already happening with specialized agent teams delivering huge results. And finally, what it means for us. Our role is changing from operator to orchestrator.
So this leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. If you, right now, had a dedicated team of AI agents that could flawlessly handle any multi-step digital task you threw at them, what would you have them do? What's the one complex project or tedious workflow you would immediately hand over to your own personal AI agent team?